new Torah portion. Boy, come to Pare. Boy, parsha that will speak about the redemption of the Jewish people leaving Egypt. We have 3 plagues left, and then the final Exodus. Okay, let us begin. Okay, Vayomer Hashem. And Hashem spoke to Moshe. Boy, come, El Pare. Come to Pare ve'ani hichbadati esli boy, and I will harden his heart. This lebavadav and the hearts of his servants. Laman Isai, in order that I should place my signs, Ela Bekir boy, amidst in his midst. Rashi. So he brings down the words that God spoke to Moshe, Vayal Pare, come to Pare, Hasri boy, and warn him. Right. So the flow of the verse is a bit confusing because come to Pare and I will harden his heart. So why are you coming to Pare? Right? You're coming to Pare in order to warn him about the forthcoming plague, right? Shisi, I will place Sumi, my pudding, Sha'ashis ani, that I will place. So just explaining that word because I'm not certain if we've had that word before. Maybe we haven't had it. Not certain. In any case, so he's explaining that I will place the signs in their midst. Verse number 2, Ulaman, and in order to saper bazne bincha, that you should tell over, recount in the ears of your sons, your children, and your children's children, meaning grandchildren, of that which I made a mockery of the Egyptians, and also the signs, something that I placed amongst them, in order that you should know that I am Hashem. Let's see Rashi. So he picks up on the word v'hisalalti, right? Which I've made a mockery. Sachakti, I've made sport of. Kamoi hisalalti bi, that you have mocked me. There'll be a verse by Bilam said to his donkey, right? That that the donkey, right, that mocked Bilam. Halak kasher yisrael bahem. The word hisailel in the phrase, it is not true that when you amused himself, you made mockery with them. Ha'omar b'mitzrayim, which is reference to Egypt. It's not a doing an action. It's not an action of making a mockery. Shem king, because if it was alalti, then it should be written alalti rather than hisalalti. Hisalalti, in other words, that you have, not that you are doing it now in the present tense.
It will become a marker. It will become.
Yeah. Oh, good morning.
Morning.
So, kamay elal lamay ka'asher lalti li. Asher elal li. Okay. So just showing different examples. Verse number 3. V'yavai Moshe v'Aaron. And he came, right? It's interesting. Yavai is singular. Yavayu is plural.
Again, singular.
Yeah, singular. Moshe v'Aaron. Moshe and Aaron came El Pare to Pare. V'yamru, and they said, now that's plural, a love to him. Koy Amar Hashem, so says God, Hashem, Elokei Ephraim, the God of the Hebrews. Ad Masai, until when? Ma'anta, will you refrain? La'anais to la'anais here is saying to. Actually, it's interesting. Okay, so we're going to bring in um, the word anais has several meanings. In this context, it will see, and it'll bring down from the unkelis, and it means to make yourself poor, meaning to make yourself humble, right? That you are refraining from humbling yourself, mipnei shalach ami v'yavduni, in order to send out my nation, v'yavduni, that they should serve me. Rashi la'anais should be understood Kitargumai according to Unkelis's explanation, the iskanoa, to be humbled. Whom he gives us ani is from the same word, the root of the word ani, which means poor. God says to Pharaoh, you have refused to become poor and lowly before me. Right, right. Who are usually humble? Poor people, because they don't have and they feel that they don't have, and that's humbling, right? Wealthy people are usually not as, it's harder. They got to work on their humility more. Okay, verse number 4. Ki im ma'in ata. For if ma'in, you refuse, ata, you, l'shaleach, to send, isami, my nation, hineni, behold, I, mevi machar, I will bring tomorrow, arbe b'gvulecha, I will bring locusts in your territory, in your boundaries. The chisas ein haaretz, and these locusts, right? They will. Oh boy, hold on. Plug in. Moment. Got to plug this in, and it's gonna die. Well, we're good. Working. Okay. Oh, not plugged in over here. Got to be plugged into the source. Otherwise, you're in trouble. It's just so long you can go on your own. On your own. Okay. Sorry. So it will cover the surface of the land. V'lo yuchal, we're verse 5. V'lo yuchal lirais is ha'aretz, you will not be able to see the land, the ground, the earth. V'achal is yesera pleta, and it will consume the remaining, whatever is left of the vegetation, and nisheres lachem, that's left for you, mina bara, that um, from the seventh plague, right, which was the bara, the hail. Va'achal is kol eitz hatzameach, and it will consume all of the trees that are growing. Lachem, for you, minatzada, from the field. Rashi is kol haaretz, as mira haaretz, meaning you're not going to be able to see the appearance of the land. V'lo yuchal, and you won't be able. Haraya lirais haaretz, someone who's seeing to be able to see the land. The lashon ktsara dibar. This is an abbreviated manner the verse is speaking. Let's just see. Lo yuchal lirais haaretz. Okay, I don't know why Rashi says it's abbreviated. Not certain, because he doesn't say what would be at. Lo yuchal lirais haaretz. I'm not clear what he means by that. And They will fill, meaning the locusts, they will fill your homes, Avate, Kol Avadecha, and the homes of all of your servants, Avate, Kol Mitzrayim, and the homes of all of the Egyptians, Shaloi Ra'u Avisecha, of which that your forefathers, of your fathers have did not see, and your grandfathers, fathers' fathers, from the day of your being, ala adama, on the ground, until this very day. In other words, you've never seen anything like this. Nothing like this. And they turned, Moshe and Aaron, and they exited from Paru, from his presence. Verse number 7. And they said, the servants of Parai, Elav to Pharaoh, Ad Masai, until when he yells Zelanu, that this is going to be Lamaikish. A maikish means a snare, to ensnare us. Shalach Zanashim, send away the men. Yabdu is Hashem Alekechem, and they should serve their Hashem, their God. Hatem Teda ki Avda Mitzrayim, before we realize that Egypt is going to be Avda, completely destroyed, lost. Actually, Avda means lost, right? Hatem Teda Rashi, before we know, Ha'oid lo yadaiti ki Avda Mitzrayim. Have you not yet realized that Egypt is lost? Yeah. Okay. So this is what the servant says. V'yushav es Moshe v'Aaron, and they were returned, they were brought back, Moshe and Aaron, El Parai, to Parai. V'yomru aleihim, and he said, Parai to them, L'chu, go, Yivdu, serve. Hashem Elokeichem, Hashem, your God. Mi b'mi ahalchim. But who's going exactly? Who's going? Tell me who's going. Rashi, v'yushav. Yushav means that not Moshe and Aaron returned, but they were returned. So it means Hushval Yedei Shaliach, they were returned by a messenger. Sheshalchu achareim, the Egyptians had sent after them, the Hishivum el Parai, and returned them to Parai. Right? Vayomer Moshe. So Moshe responds, who's going? Bin Areinu. We're going with our young. Vizikanenu, with our elders. Nelach, we're going to go. Bibanenu, with our sons. Bimanoisenu, with our daughters. Bitzainenu, with our sheep. Bivakarenu, with our cattle. Nelach, we're going to go. Ki Chag Hashem Lanu. Here it is a festival for Hashem for us. And what does it mean? Vayomer Aleihim. In other words, what does it mean it's a festival? It's a festival, so we're going to have to bring offerings. That's why we have to bring the sheep and the cattle, because we're going to offer them up. So it's not just, our families that are going to go, but everybody, but everything's going. And he said to them, and others, Para now responded, so it shall be, Hashem imachem, that Hashem will be with you, kasher shalach eschem, as I will send you, v'stapchem, and your children, and I will send you forth with your children. Re'u ki ra neged penechem. But Re'u, see, watch out, ki ra, because there's evil, neged penechem, that is before you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Rashi, and number 10. Lengthy Rashi over here. So kasher shalach eschem v'stapchem, that I will send you and your children. Af ki shalach gam esatzain v'sabok kasher amartim. So yeah, all the more, I'm even sending more, not more than even sending the flock and the cattle, right? Sending the little ones too. Re'u ki ra neged penechem. See that there is evil before you, that you're going to face evil. Targum with this should be understood according to Onkelus's understanding, that you see that the evil which you intend to commit turns back at you. But I've heard a midrashic interpretation otherwise. There's a star whose name is called Ra'ah. Amar lehem Pare. Pare said to Moshe and Aaron, Rayani bitstan news shall they? I see through my astrological predictions that the star of Ra'ah is ascending and is going to greet you in the wilderness, in the desert. The Husim Dam Variga, and it is an omen of blood and killing. Israel what is this reference to? When the Jews, they sinned, when the Israelites sinned with the golden calf, and Hashem wanted to kill the Jewish people because of the sin of the golden calf. Moshe said in his prayer, why should the Egyptians say that you took them out in Ra'ah, meaning an evil, right? In other words, your ultimate intent was you're going to kill them, right? But he uses the same word ra'ah as Pharaoh's using over here, right? So the midrashic interpretation, it doesn't mean evil, it means the star of ra'ah, right? The midrashic interpretation. Kizu amar lahem Pare. This is what Pare had said to them. Re'u ki ra'ah neged pneichem. See that ra'ah is facing you. Miyad, immediately following the prayer, we find V'yinachem Hashem ala ra, and then we see that Hashem reconsiders regarding the ra'ah, meaning the star. And he transformed the blood, that the star would initially use it as a blood of death, and others to kill those that were engaged in the sin of the golden calf, l'dam mila, into the blood of circumcision. Shemal Yeshua is that Yeshua circumcised them before they went into the land of Israel. But that's what it says. Today, the day of the circumcision of the Jewish people before they entered into the land, I've rolled away the humiliation of Egypt, which is upon you. For they would humiliate you and say to you, Dam anu royim aleichem b'midbar, that we see blood decreed upon you in the desert. Psh, amazing.
Sure, talk about it here, huh?
Yeah.
Because the whole thing that Rashi's saying is in the reverse chronology. So, right? Saying the blood will be the blood of the Mila, which precedes the idea that Hashem wanted to kill the Jews at the golden calf.
No, it's afterwards.
For the Mila?
Mila was by Yeshua taking them into Israel. That's afterwards.
Oh, okay. Not the Mila, not the okay.
Yeah, it's afterwards.
Yeshua.
Wow. So obviously we need to understand here why does Rashi bring down this midrashic explanation, right? When simply take it. The that Pharaoh is saying that your intent with your intentions, just be careful because evil is going to befall you.
First he was sarcastic, and then this.
No, but the midrashic interpretation is, it's a whole different, Okay, last verse. Loi came. So, not so. L'chuna, hagvarim, go with the men. V'yivtuz Hashem, and that they should serve Hashem. Ki oisatem invakshim, because that's what you're requesting anyways. What do you want to take the kids for? Yeah, there's your intent is evil, right? You want to go and serve, so what do you need the women for? What do you need the children for? And he expelled them, Moshe and Aaron, from before Para. Rashi. Not so. As you said, to take the children with you. You're not going to be taking the children with you. Rather, it's only the men should go and worship. Because that's what you're requesting. This is what you're requesting till this point, right? Because you asked that the sacrifice unto our God, children don't go and participate in sacrifices. So what do the children got to do with any of this? It's calling their bluff. And now he drove them away, he expelled them. There's an abbreviated in the verse like perish Mia Megarish doesn't specify who chased or sent away who. Right. And it was Parai that did it to Moshe and Aaron. Megarish Oisam, and he expelled them. I'm not clear why this is a problem. Why is it abbreviated?
With Paret, not Kadesh, he of the God.
Hmm. So Yigarish Oisam, if it was he remove them. Me'es b'nei parai. Aha, I get it. From before parai. In other words, if it was Paro then and did it, then it should say itoi from him, right? It doesn't say from him, so it means it was a third party that did it, but we don't know who. That's the point Rashi is making. Interesting. Okay, let's see from the Rebbe's
What
teaching.
you said correctly then for 40 years, the Yidden were not demolished?
I thought by Har Sinai they were.
All of those Jews gone.
Because it says Dam
They
Mila.
were not
Now they
demolished.
did two things. They did Dam Mila, right? And the Dam of the shechting of the sheep, right? That they kept in their house for 4 days. That's why I always
That's why
understood.
preceded it, but he says the Farish in the time of Yeshua.
Yeah, so I'm
So
not.
I'm
I don't know.
That mean that until the time of Yeshua, Jews were not demolished.
That's what Rash. That's what I say. But I think by Har Sinai it wasn't that way, so I don't know how that makes sense. I don't understand it.
What does it mean?
Circumcised. Let's see if we can see something from the Rebbe. Okay. We're not talking about Abraham. We're done. We're now talking about the Jews in Egypt.
Circumcised, which is Jews in Russia. Jews in Russia. Who was in prison could be arrested, and the one who did the circumcision could be executed. So it's so dangerous that people were not circumcised.
Time of the Assyrian Greeks also in the story of Hanukkah.
This is not possible for them. It's just too dangerous, illegal. You imagine it being this way, it's impossible. According to what he said over here, and I'm telling you what he said is that the only circumcision was done with God. That 40 years into the dead after they were leaving, they were circumcised.
So I don't have a sikha here from the Rebbe on this. So
Because it wasn't on the slaves.
Right, we're no longer slaves.
Yeah, they were not. So
the Rebbe. So let's leave that on the side for now, because I don't see anything here. I don't. Right. I'm saying I don't see any the Rebbe. I don't. And here it doesn't address it. But it doesn't have all the sikhs here. Anyways, the name of the parsha, boy, which means to come. So the Rebbe ties it in of the content of the parsha. So the Zohar says that the reason it says Boy al Parai, which seemingly that's doesn't make sense to use that word. What word should it say? Lech, go.
Come.
Go.
No,
Go.
yeah, go to Parai, not come to Parai. Come to me. You don't come. I don't tell you to come to Parai. I tell you to go to Parai. So it made more sense. But God is teaching, right? Um, that God is entering with Moshe into the inner chamber where Parai is together with him.
God is taking Moshe with, come with
Yeah.
me, it says. Come with me to Paradise. That's when we say come, because I'm gonna take.
So actually, no, actually, he's saying here a bit different in this explanation. Other places says that. Here he's saying, come, in other words, come inside of you completely. Right. And if to have redemption, which this parsha is about redemption of the Jewish people, you have to enter inside of you completely in order to have redemption. In other words, not to use only your external qualities and powers of your soul, but you have to use all of your qualities, all of your powers of the soul. So you have to have complete engagement, complete entering, going into yourself in the sense that you are using everything of yourself.
So come unto yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. That was one sikha. And another, huh?
Go further, how do we see it?
As a Pinip, I have
How do
to,
we see that idea?
well, that because the
Moshe
part
Aaron need to come into themselves.
completely in order that they,
I got it, where do we see that in the?
well, no, but he's saying that the content of the parsha is about redemption. So the name of the parsha brings out the idea of what the parsha is. So boy means to come. It means come thoroughly inside of you, that you're using every element of your being to, in engaging with, in engaging in whatever it is that you're doing, right?
Because redemption comes from within.
Right. Exactly.
Come to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't go home, you come.
Right. Right.
You can see on the way home.
Say, come home, that's the.
Yeah, but that's a no, but what Pesach is saying, when you're going home, it's not about coming into your home. It's about going on the process, on the journey to get there. But that's not coming home. Coming home is only when you enter the home. So you can go on the journey, but that doesn't mean you're using everything that you have in your home, in your being. When you come home, that's the expression. Oh, he finally came home. And others, he finally entered totally.
A bit hard to grasp, but okay.
Why? What's the difficulty?
What Pesach is saying, because in the Parsha, it kind of doesn't give us that idea that, okay, this is more of a come within yourself.
No, but that's
Rather
no, because the parsha is about the redemption going out of Egypt, right? Redemption. So redemption is only when you totally come home, right? So what does it mean? Huh?
Come to Pharaoh. Pharaoh isn't home.
What?
It says come to Pharaoh. But Pharaoh is not home. If I'm coming home, I'm coming into my
No.
back.
So you have to come. So when you're dealing with Pharaoh, right, you need to be totally at home. That's why elsewhere it says in the Zohar that he was very, another explanation, Moshe was frightened. Why? Because every time, where did he meet Pharaoh till now? By the Nile River, right? So that's Pharaoh on the external, outside. Now he's meeting him in the palace, inner chamber. The inner chamber of Pharaoh, that's frightening to deal with the evil in its core, on its turf. That's much more difficult. And therefore, boy, Hashem is coming with him to give him the strength that he can now come home, be himself, even in the palace of Pharaoh, and not to be affected by the core essence of evil. Got it?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What was this analogy of when Hashem says come to Pharaoh? It's as though it's giving Moshe the assurance that Hashem himself is where Pharaoh is.
What do you mean?
Hmm?
I'm not clear.
Hashem is saying, okay, so I'm home. So I would say, come home, come to me, come to me. So it's almost as though Hashem is given the assurance to Moshe, when you're coming to Pharaoh, he will be meeting me there as well too. So don't be afraid.
He's going with him. That's what it means. Boy, come. Means you're coming. He's coming with someone. Who's he? He's coming with Hashem. Hashem is there with him. All right.
So Hashem is telling Moshe, come with me, Pharaoh.
The Zohar says that, yeah. Yeah. Wow. Pretty powerful.
And mind-bending.
And mind-bending. Yes.
Or the mind straightening.
Huh?
Mind straightening. Straightens the mind.
Well, because our minds are bent, we need to go through a mind-bending understanding to straighten out our minds. Huh?
Unbending.
Yeah, bend it up to make it straight.
No, because the Rambam says, right? Because we're bent. So it's like a tree that's bent this way. He speaks about character quality. So in order to get on this, the middle path, right? So you have to bend the opposite extreme in order that eventually you come to the middle path. So we got to bend our minds to the other side so we can be straight, have a straight
I think
head.
50 years ago, I heard that explained in some detail. It changed my life.
Yeah.
50 years ago. I remember that was something that was eye-opening. Something that changed me completely.
Well, it is a
Explanation.
Bending of the mind.
all right, folks.
The idea that
Well,
the tree. that
see you
you wanna
shortly.
bend it
Thank you, Rabbi.
in one direction,
oh,
you don't tie it
Chava,
up
good
in
to
that.
see you here.
You have to tie it up in the